why so many black men, Hispanic voters have found in Trump something to admire, something even to vote for.
Well, Madam Editor, I'm glad you asked me that question. For
Now, for some of you may not know who this person is. This is Nina Turner. She was a senator in Ohio who lost her seat back in, I would say, early 2010, somewhere near there. But she essentially lost her seat, and she's been trying to get back into politics. But she is a Bernie Sanders supporter, so Democrat, Socialist, blah blah blah. They think they're saving the world, but there's a reason why people like Bernie Sanders and like Nina Turner have been ousted from the Democratic Party. Matter of fact, the Democratic Party ran their own candidate against her to make sure she wouldn't make sure Nina Turner wouldn't win, and she lost her pretty much lost her ass in that race though. So the Democrats, when you are super ultra progressive, they will abandon you. But again, this is Nina Turner. I don't know who these folks are. I don't watch Free the Press, but I saw this video trending, and it's definitely gonna have a good conversation relating to how the Democrats treat their constituents and specifically black men, because people assume, and this, as this journalist or reporter has asked Nina Turner, what's your read on black men supporting Trump or going to the Republican Party? Why is that even a question? Like, people got to start asking that question. Like, what does it matter if they want to go to the Republican Party? The Democrat Party do not own the vote of black men or men in general. But for some reason, when it comes to black men, they just think they owe our votes. We're just supposed to give our vote to them without any type of concession, without even working for our vote. And if you've even looked at some of the things the Democrats have been doing, they haven't been doing this stuff for anybody other than illegal immigrants. So, regardless if you are white, black, or whatever color you want to classify yourself as, the Democrats are not doing anything remotely close to supporting the individuals that support them. Now, for Republicans, I know people will say, "Well, what are Republicans going to do?" The Republicans got to do a damn thing. You know why? Because you've been giving your vote to the Democrats for the last 50, 60 years. They didn't have to earn your vote. They haven't passed anything that's in the benefit of Black Americans. They haven't done anything like that. So when people want to have this conversation about what Trump is going to do for black people, Trump has actually did quite a few. Trump did more things for the black community than I think he should have done, because one being the HBCUs, he got them consistent funding every year, and and you have this election cycle coming up. They act like they don't know him. They have so much hostility towards Trump, but they didn't have the hostility when Trump gave them that money to make sure they have funding every year, so they don't have to come back to the president or the U.S. really to get funding, which is also another funny conversation. Why are HBCUs always asking for money? Do they not have alumni that can support or boosters that can support them?
me, the Democratic Party emasculates black men. And I think
And then this is crazy. Like, you just heard the wow. Like, I have, for as far as I can remember, the Democrats have never done anything for Black Americans. And the way that they try to, starting in 2016 with Hillary, just trying to shame Black men for their votes. And I don't know why they specifically chose Black men. There's more white men out there that can swing a vote, but they specifically chose Black men to shame us and say, hey, if you don't vote for Hillary, then you're not part of the Black community. And then you fast forward, you got Joe Biden, you got the infamous, if you have a problem voting between me and Trump, then you ain't Black. So in that little snippet, just it went viral, but it didn't go viral. It went viral for like, oh yeah, I am Black, so I am gonna vote for Biden. No, nobody gets to check your color. Nobody gets this. Not Obama, not Biden, and you don't see Trump doing anything, saying any negative remarks like that. No, this is only something you see from the Democrats, specifically some of these racist Democrats out there. I believe maybe not Democrats, yes, but also liberals, progressives are one of the most racist people. Now, Nina Turner identifies as a social Democrat, but I also think she's a far right, or I mean far left progressive Democrat left winger as well too. And so when you have these types of folks just trying to tell you if you don't do a certain thing, they're going to check your skin color is ridiculous. And they only do this to black men. And so that's why it's a conversation where men in general just have to start deciding what's in the best interest of yourself and also what's in the best interest of the country. It ain't abortion. It ain't student loan debt. It ain't going to be some social program. It's never a social program because when these programs are when you need when you're down on your luck, ain't nobody coming to save you. There's no social program, no social net that is going to save you. People will move on with their lives and say like, "Yep, you should have did better. You should have managed yourself a little bit better," and they kick you to the curb. And so when you have these progressives coming out here and these liberals coming out here with these social programs, they never have to worry about it because they are generally in a better situation, especially with the Democrats, because they're more or less an elitist organization that tries to tell you, like, hey, we're working for you. And they're millionaires. They're millionaires and billionaires. I've never seen so many people that said they were working for you and just one of the regular people when they're millionaires and billionaires. That's just ridiculous. But let's go back.
Hispanic men probably feel the same way. And I say this because they weaponize identity. When and where we enter, who we are, how we identify is important to who we are, just like our fingerprints. But if you're not going to use my identity to advance a social justice cause, and you're just going to use my identity as a blunt force object, now I got a problem. And so what the Democratic Party does, they put black women on a pedestal and they say, we're the mothers of the movement, or we saved the party. But yet you don't put forth policies that save black babies. You don't put forth policies that deal with the maternal death rate of black women and black babies in the United States of America.
So Nina Turner hit some great points here. Now, I don't really agree with Nina Turner on a lot of things, but in this particular segment, she actually did a pretty good job of explaining how the Democrats just use black people to advance their own purposes or their own selfish purposes. So, but when people talk about weaponizing identity, which the Democrats do the most, and she specifically talks about policies for black babies, I anytime somebody brings that up, I ask them, like, where do you live? If you live in a poor part of the country, you probably not even get the service that you're looking for. And I know some will say, well, why are some services terrible? I don't know. Talk to your taxes. I mean, are people paying taxes? Do you have a lot of social services down there? That's why you have poor medical needs in those states. And also, a lot of times people are just overweight. So when people get these social programs or these SNAP benefits for getting food, they're not getting healthy food. They're getting terrible food. They're not getting food that they can make a meal out of. They're getting food that's just high in sugar, high in preservatives, high in fat. So when a lot of these people are like, we just don't have adequate medical coverage or adequate medical facilities. Well, that's one thing, but you having to go to the hospital is also part of your problem. So people got to cook better. When you get on these social programs, I know there's not a way to prevent people from picking out what food that they're getting, but I hear people complain about like creating like these, and even Kamala has come out and said she's going to create these programs for women to have babies. Like also the thing that people don't bring up, you have a lot of women, single moms having these babies. They're not in marriages. They're not they don't have a husband. They don't have their boyfriend in most cases. So you want you want us to be understanding to like these women losing their kids, and I mean, you don't want anyone, giving birth and losing their kid, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not just, throw money at the problem to fix it. No, there's some personal accountability that needs to be discussed with some of these individuals. That's just what it is. But again, Nina is the type, she's a progressive, and so she's going to think it's everyone else's fault or Republicans' fault. It's somebody's fault, but it's not the individual's fault.
You don't do those things that lift and edify. Yes, identity is important. Both parties use it differently. Republicans use it to say that everybody black or brown or of a mixed race is somehow kind of way a DEI hire. They use it to say certain books will be banned. Don't tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about how this country was for.
All right, and Nina, this is where she goes off the deep end because the books being banned are the books that she would never read in front of. I don't even know if she even has kids, but she would never read. Yeah, she does have a kid, actually. She would never read that book in front of her son. And then I know for a fact she would never read that book in the church. So go ahead and try to say like this book banning is a thing, but it really isn't. People, I don't want people try to play it like they never want to go down the path of, well, which books were being banned. Like, let's have that conversation.
Formulated because you might hurt a white child's feelings by.
Oh yeah, and the whole CRT and the history of American history. Again, this is where she's going off the deep end. This is why she's a progressive, and she'll always be a Democrat because the way that people want to teach these things. Like, look, if you want to teach Black history, teach it at home. Put your kid in a class. You would think there'd be a lot of outside the school programs that talk about Black history. No, just if you want to learn about Black history or Asian history or Italian history, look, learn that through your family. The schools, they teach these kids how to vote. Teach these kids what civics is. Like, let's have those conversations. Teach these kids about finances, economics, or U.S. economics and world economics. Like, that's what they should be teaching these kids. I understand like the world history when it comes to Black history. You have the discussion about slavery and then some of the iconic Black freedom fighters out there though too. But these people are out of control. They want to redo the entire history and just paint the United States as this is like a terrible they're a communist country or they're like China or something. Like, this is what these people want. This is what they want. How they want to retell the story about how America became what it is. Like, look, at the end of the day, there's winner or losers. And so, if you can't deal with that, then, teach your kids their own history then. Like, nobody's stopping you.
By saying that, yeah, chattel slavery existed. And, oh, by the way, white powerful folks stole the land from the indigenous people. So all of those things, Chinese Exclusion Act, I mean, we can go down the list. But Democrats use it in a way that alienates other folks, and it offends me. So when I talk to Black men across this country, they don't see themselves in this party. It's one thing to recognize the power and prowess of Black women and the sacrifices that we make. It is another thing to put us above Black men. The Black struggle, Black men and Black women have to be together. We don't have the luxury to be separated. And so I resent the Democratic Party for doing that. And so Black men do not see themselves in the party. That bravado, because we got a kind of masculine energy, and masculine energy is not all bad, but the type of...
Yeah, I'm surprised he even said that masculine energy is not all bad. It really isn't. And ever since the whole Me Too era thing that came and it was, it took over for like maybe a few years, like 5 years. But the whole Me Too trying to say masculine energy is terrible. Look, masculine energy ain't terrible when you need to be saved by a police officer or a firefighter, or you're being attacked by some illegal that's trying to bash your face in. Like, masculine energy ain't that bad after that, is it? So, people want to have this, this conversation about masculine energy, and she does go down the path of discussing how the Democrats divide Black Americans. But I think a lot of Black men are actually, I believe Black men are waking up to this, are starting to see the light. They're doing it slowly, and hopefully we can see a massive turnout for Trump this upcoming election. But you have people like I said with Nina, is that she's still going to vote for Kamala. Like, she doesn't like Kamala, she doesn't like Joe. And what they did to her, she didn't like the Democratic Party, what they did to her, but she's still going to vote for them. So I don't want to hear this, like, I don't want to vote for anybody. No, there's only one option. And what Nina is actually asking for is something that she's going to get through Trump. Someone who's going to not divide the party based on identity politics, and he's not going to cater to any specific group. He's going to put everyone in position to be successful. That's what you should always want out of a president. Like, when you're a president, you got to run the whole country, not half of the country. And the only one that I've seen ever be divisive like that are Democrats, Biden and Kamala. Like, or MAGA this, MAGA that. Like, these people are America first, country first. So you want patriots like this. You want people, this type of nationalism in the country. You don't want people that are, I only care about people that look like me. Like, this is why we're in the mess that we're in, because of identity politics. And I know both sides play it, but like she said, both sides use it differently. And when it comes to Democrats, they have just been using black people for their votes, and black people are not getting anything in return. You would think after seeing all of these, all these benefits given to illegals, that they would see like, hey, so you guys always had the money. I mean, even with the funding that's been going to the Ukraine war, you would think they've like, hey, yeah, we got to fight for something. Like all the people on that side wanting to push for like, reparations and whatnot. You would think they'd be the loudest people, but they aren't. Those people, they haven't talked about reparations anymore, actually. California just okayed housing for illegals with 150,000 down and zero interest and stuff like for new homes. What kind of sense does that even make? But you're mad at Trump because you think he's racist, or you think he's not going to do anything for black people. He doesn't need to do anything for black people. He does something for Americans. That should be your focus.